Alrighty, we are back. Newest edition of our Facebook Live. Get going in just a bit. We're gonna let some people join in, then we'll get this thing rolling. Up close and personal tonight. You got a nice close-up of your host tonight. Let me just pull it up over here so I can get your questions, and we'll be rocking and rolling. Wearing the new shirt tonight, as you could see. Expanding my wardrobe, wanted to shake it up on you guys, keep you guys guessing. Going no hat, showing off the flow. If you guys think I need a haircut, just let me know. Throw it in the comment section. Share this video. Tell all your friends how badly I need a haircut. Whatever it takes, just share. Alright, so we'll get going. It's 7 o'clock now, so before we start, I kind of think I would be remiss to not touch on the big news that kind of shocked the college basketball world last week, really the sports world. As I'm sure most of you watching this may have heard, if not, a lot of college basketball assistant coaches were recently arrested by the FBI as part of a bribery scandal where basically representatives from Adidas, the athletic apparel shoe company Adidas, were paying these coaches to then pay high school basketball players to go to their school, to commit to play for their school. They would pay the players, and in turn the players would say, okay, once I go to the NBA, I will sign with Adidas. It led to, I believe at this point, there's 10 people that have been arrested, 4 of which were Division I college basketball assistant coaches. Rick Pitino, legendary, well, maybe not legendary for the right reasons anymore, but national championship winning coach at Louisville, got fired. He got let go because of all this. And apparently from what we're reading, what we're sharing on our site, if you want to learn more about it, our social media pages are packed with articles about this scandal, everything from the details to the fallout, what to expect moving forward. But a lot of people are saying that this is only the start, that there's more fallout to come, more coaches that might be taking a fall. So that kind of just shows you how crazy and how competitive and kind of out of control the recruiting process could be. It's so competitive. Coaches, athletic programs are going to do whatever it takes to get an edge. That's why a site like ours, a site like Locker Room Talk, it's a welcome relief to some student athletes who just want honest feedback on a coach, honest feedback on an athletic program. That's why we really believe in our site, why it's so great, why we think it could help any athlete in the recruiting process. Go to lockerroomtalk.com. We have thousands of coach ratings, all from former or current college athletes, people who know the coach the best, people who know the program in and out. Go on there, learn the truth about college coaches, learn the truth about college athletic programs. And on top of that, we have blogs that will teach you everything else you need to know about the recruiting process. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need in the recruiting process. And again, I can't stress enough how competitive and crazy the recruiting process can get, especially at, the major Division I levels. And I think that the news story last week of all these coaches and the big bribery scandal, all these coaches getting arrested, really shows that. And that's why a site like ours, it's a site where you could go and learn everything, the truth about college coaches. And so, that's not the reason I was here tonight to talk to you, but I just wanted to touch on that, let you guys know that we're here for you. We're here for the honest, make the recruiting process more honest. It's easier, and that's what our site's here to do. But tonight, the reason I am here, the reason you're tuned in to watch, is because you want to learn a game plan of the recruiting process. So tonight, I'm going to outline a game plan to help you attack the recruiting process. While this is kind of more of a brief overview of the process, it'll give you a great start to the recruiting process journey, as I like to call it, because it really is. That's what it is. It's a journey. And obviously no two recruiting processes are the same. Some say they're like snowflakes, but actually no one says that. I just made that up right there. But, no two recruiting processes are the same, so don't just take this and say, okay, my recruiting process is going to go exactly how Nick explained it today. This is just kind of a general outline, a great start, a great blueprint. For more detailed information, or if you have any more specific questions, again, go to our site. We have hundreds of blogs that'll help you through the recruiting process, any twists and turns that may arise. So I see we got some comments rolling in. Tara, always active, always one of our best followers. If you have any questions throughout the Facebook Live, if you have any comments or anything you want me to answer, or if you think you can add something to the conversation, please throw it in the comment section. I will get to everything in an attempt to kind of keep this flowing and keep it moving. If you ask me a question or bring up something that I know I'm going to talk about later on in the video, or something that might not be exactly what I'm going to talk about, I'll get to it at the end, or I'll get to it when I do talk about that topic. I didn't forget about you. I'm not ignoring you. I promise I'll get to everything. If you can't watch it live and you want to ask a question, just throw it in the comments afterwards. We always check it and we'll always get back to you. So, like I said, we're going through the recruiting process game plan. I'm going to outline it very simply. Your freshman and sophomore year game plan, your junior year game plan, and then finally your senior year game plan. And of course, this is of high school. And so a lot of people don't really know how important it is to get started on the recruiting process early on. So I'm going to stress the importance of starting your freshman and sophomore year. Obviously, you don't have to do the heavy lifting early on in your freshman year, but it is important to just get the balls rolling, get the process going, because you don't want to get too far behind. Then you have to play catch up. You're not, focusing on everything that you should be focused on because you're trying to make up for the 2 years that you missed. So again, freshman, sophomore year, not too early to start. So one thing you want to do going into your freshman year of freshman year of high school is establish a 4-year academic plan. There are required courses that you have to take to become NCAA eligible, and we have a blog on that on our site. We also had done another Facebook Live video that you could find on either our Facebook page or our YouTube page about that, what those courses are. But make sure you have a 4-year plan where you'll be able to get through all these courses, space them out so you don't have to take all of them your senior year, or you're forgetting about one and you can't play in college because you forgot to take biology or whatever it may be. So freshman year, it's important to establish, it might seem like a lot your freshman year, but get that 4-year academic plan going. And then with the courses you do take, make sure you maintain a 2.0 GPA. That's what you need to be NCAA eligible, a 2.0 on a 4.0 scale. If your high school is on a 0 to 100 scale, that's different, obviously. You could look up what the equivalent is on the 4.0 scale if you are on a 100-point scale. And talk to your coaches on how to gain exposure in your sport. You're still young. You're 13, 14, 15 years old in your freshman and sophomore year, but talk to your high school coach, your travel coaches on how to gain exposure, what camps to go to, what tournaments you think would be good to go to, showcases, things of that nature. And you want to start videotaping your games. A lot of coaches that we have spoken to, we have hundreds of coach Q&As on our blog, on our site. They all talk about the importance of a recruiting tape, recruiting video. And so start videotaping your games early on. You don't have to put everything in. A lot of them say they want a short, 2 to 5 minute video, but the more tape you have to choose from, the better. If you have a great game, take from that. If you have a bad game your sophomore year, just throw that tape out. But always start videotaping the games. It's never too early. Never have too much good video footage of yourself. Hopefully you get to the point where you have to choose what to put in and what not. And then after that, just start keeping records of your athletic and academic achievements. I'm going to get back to this during your junior year plan, but so you'll figure out why you want to start doing this. But if you win MVP of a tournament, or you get a standout achievement in school, something like that, just keep note of it so you don't have to try to remember it at the later on when you're trying to make your athletic or academic resume. And yes, Tara had mentioned Hudl is a great resource for the recruiting process, and it's great for filming videos of yourself. You can put together highlight packages. They do it for you. They have tons of services. They offer everything from filming to editing to everything. So check out Hudl.com if you have any questions or concerns about putting together a highlight tape. They're the best in the business of that. And then finally, for your freshman and sophomore year, I am lumping these 2 years together because you don't really have to do too much. Again, like I said, every recruiting process is different, so you might be getting heavily recruited at this time. But again, just a general outline. So what you want to do is start viewing college athletic websites at this time. Go on to maybe you think, oh, I like this school. Just go onto their athletic website. If you're a soccer player, go onto their soccer page. Field hockey, go to their field hockey page. And a lot of times what they'll have on their site is an online questionnaire. Basically, it'll say, are you interested in this program? Fill out this questionnaire. It's all very basic, generic information about yourself, but coaches look at that. They keep track of how many people fill it out. They keep track of the names of the people who fill it out, and they might not be able to get back to you right away because depending on your age, they might not be able to contact you at that point. But when you do formally reach out, or you are at the age where they can reach out to you, they'll have that in the back of the head that, okay, this athlete, they filled out the online questionnaire. They're very proactive in the recruiting process. They've shown interest in my program in my school, so that's a leg up. It's something that takes 2 minutes, if that, and there's no reason not to do it. It's just something that you could add to your resume in terms of in the coach's head. They'll realize how proactive you are. It's something that's too easy to not do. And so then moving on to your junior year, this is kind of where it starts to get a little heavier, where the recruiting process starts to pick up a lot. It could get a lot more stressful for student athletes because it's a time where you kind of have to start making the decisions of not exactly where you want to go, but start narrowing down the field, start actually talking to coaches more often, which could be a scary experience for some. But you always want to continue focusing on academics. It's not me repeating myself. It's just stressing how important that is. You don't want to not be able to go to your dream school because the coach can't get you in because your grades aren't good enough. So that's something that all 4 years of high school, you focus on each and every year. If you're not great at, some people aren't great at school. It's something you have to work on, something you have to always focus on. You can't let that slip because it's pretty much just as important and integral to a coach to see that you are strong academically, that you are eligible to get into their school, that you don't want the reason you can't get to your dream school to be that you don't have the good enough grades. And then ensure you're taking all required classes. Again, at this point, you're halfway done with high school, heading into your junior year. So you want to make sure that you're on pace to get all those required courses out of the way that the NCAA is going to make you take in high school. So just double check up on that before your junior year. Plan out the next 2 years to make sure you just bang those all out. You don't want to worry about it your final semester of high school. You have to worry about taking all these required classes that you forgot to take early on. And then, again, another big thing for junior year is standardized testing. It's not fun, SATs or ACTs. I don't know of one person I've ever met that enjoyed taking them, but that you got to do, that you, for pretty much all colleges, you could take them more than once, so could be good and bad. It's good because if you don't get the score you want or the score you need, you can retake them. Obviously, they aren't free, so if you do, hopefully you have the financial well-being to take it multiple times, but it is something that you don't have to, if you don't do great on the SAT first time around, it's nothing that you have to really, really stress out about. You could take it as many times as you'd like. Begin going to college fairs. Your high school might have a few. I know mine did. A lot of high schools do that, or there are some. I'm from Long Island. There's a huge Long Island college fair every year that you could attend. Most areas will have a regional college fair. You could go. If you kind of need more schools to think about, the college fair is a good thing for you because you could see a school there that you didn't really think you'd be interested in, or you maybe didn't even really know about, that you could get information on. So again, it's just all about collecting as much information as possible and start visiting college campuses. Kind of goes one and the same with the college fairs. If you're talking to the coach at this time, meet the coach, or just go to a campus, walk around, see if it's campus for you. I know personally, the campus was one of the biggest deciding factors in my college recruiting experience. I wanted to go to Skidmore, which is where I went, which you probably know by now, because one of the reasons was how much I loved the campus. That was definitely top of my list. It might be on the top of yours, it might not be, but just going to the campus, walking around gives you a good feel of what it would be like to be there for 4 years, maybe less, maybe more, depending on your situation. And you also want to start to talk to coaches and guidance counselors and coming up with a list of prospective schools at this time. So this kind of all ties together with the fairs, visiting campuses, and getting a list of prospective schools. From visiting the colleges and going to these fairs. You can narrow down your search. Talk to your guidance counselors. They'll help you with, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't focus on this school. The academics might be a little out of your ballpark. Or, hey, you could really go here, but academically, you could maybe go to a much better school. Guidance counselors are great at that. And then talk to your coaches. They can, hopefully give you an honest assessment if they think you can or cannot play at that school, depending on what level it is, if it's Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, whatever it may be. Talk to your guidance counselors for an academic assessment and your coaches for an athletic assessment, and also use them to help you reach out to coaches. I know my high school coach, baseball coach, was great with that. He reached out to coaches on my behalf, spoke to them for me, kind of vouched for me. So if you have a great relationship with a high school coach, a travel coach, have them reach out to coaches. College coaches love to hear from recruits, coaches, because they'll have the same relationship with you that you did with that coach. If a coach calls up a college coach and says, hey, I love this kid, great attitude, hard worker, a college coach will take that into heavy consideration, will carry a lot of weight in terms of what they think of you and how they view you. If you could have a coach vouch for you, that's huge. And then create an athletic resume. I touched on this in the freshman and sophomore year portion. You are going to want to create an athletic resume, just to email it, easily PDF it, send it out to college coaches, have all your athletic and academic accomplishments throughout high school. You usually don't want to go into middle school. That's a long time ago. College coaches are more focused on what you did recently in the past 2 or 3 years. So just get a resume going. I was MVP of this tournament, or, my junior year in high school, I scored 10 goals, whatever it may be. Whatever you think puts you in the best light, list that all out on put a picture of yourself, a nice little headshot, and then send that out to coaches just so they have it on file, so they could always look back and see, okay, so this kid accomplished X, Y, and Z. And also on the resume, put where you're playing next. If you're going to a showcase in the college's area, say, all right, August, blah, 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 I'll be in your area playing at a tournament. Hopefully they'll come see you. Send out a letter of introduction to college coaches and follow up with a phone call. In this intro is kind of where you can send that athletic resume that I mentioned. Just send out an email. Hey, we have a blog. Actually, we have a great blog on our site with a typed out form email that you could send. Obviously, you need to change the name, the coach, the school, and you always want to add 1 or 2 sentences that are particular about the school so the coach knows that it's not just a form email. But go to our blog on lockerroomtalk.com. It's a great start. You can kind of work off that. Just send out an introductory email to the coach, get yourself on their radar, and follow up with a phone call. Maybe they don't answer, just say, hey, coach, I just sent you an email, want to follow up, love your program, want to talk to you more about it, see if we're a right fit for one another, things of that nature. Just kind of break the ice. Junior year is a great place to start that. And then something that I wish I did, it didn't hurt me, because that I didn't do it, but it's a great practice to do, is keep a file of all the coaches that you've reached out to and that have reached out to you and that you've talked to. You don't want to email a coach an introductory email after you had already sent him or her an email. It's not a good look. Coach sees you're unorganized. Coach sees that maybe you didn't take emailing him or her too seriously in the first place. So just keep a file, kind of the last time you talked to him or her, that being the coach, what you said, if it was a phone call, email, whatever, just so you have it all in one place so you could always check back and say, okay, well, I haven't talked to this coach in 2 weeks. Now's a good time to email them again, and things of that nature. You don't want to forget that you emailed a coach and email them a day later saying the same thing, or you don't want to go a month or 2 months without contacting a coach because you don't remember the last time that you did reach out to them. So just keep a file. That way it's all in one place. You don't lose track of who you talk to. Makes your life a whole heck of a lot easier. And then finally, your senior year. You got 1 year left to high school, maybe a little senioritis, not feeling class. I know I did, but I was able to push through. But again, academics your senior year is something that a coach will seriously look at, because like I said, a lot of athletes will get senioritis where they think, oh, this doesn't really matter. I know what school I'm going to. I know what coach I'm going to play for. But if a coach sees your grades dramatically drop your senior year because you're not trying and you don't care, they think that's a character flaw, and quite frankly it is. I know athletes who have lost scholarships, or maybe they didn't have a scholarship, but a coach said, maybe this isn't a good fit after all because of their poor academics their senior year of high school. You don't want that to happen to you. Then you have to, all your plans are ruined. It's an absolute nightmare scenario. So I know it's not easy. I struggled with it. Just grind through your senior year academically and get through it, then move on to bigger and better things in college. But what else do you have to do your senior year? Great question. You have to submit NCAA Clearinghouse in the fall. So that's kind of a step that every NCAA athlete has to go through. It's kind of annoying, a little bit confusing. Your guidance counselor can help you with that. Your high school coaches hopefully are familiar with it. If not, we have information on lockerroomtalk.com about it. It's just basically a form you have to fill out to prove that you are eligible to play in the NCAA. It's just basically just more paperwork, which you'll learn. There's a lot of paperwork in the recruiting process. What else do you need to do? Take and/or retake standardized tests if needed. Like I said, you could take an SAT more than once. You could take an ACT more than once. They're not free, but if you are able to afford to take them multiple times and you should get a better score to improve your standing at a certain school, do it. It's annoying, but it is what it is. It's part of the process. Obtain college applications. This is a time where you actually do send out the physical application, whether they use a common app, the school you're applying to, or they have a school-specific one. Make sure that you know what application each school you're going to apply to requires. Make sure you have it filled out, and make sure that you don't want to scramble to fill out an application last minute because you thought the school used a common app, but they have their own essay and things like that. So make sure you have a list. If you have 10 schools, make a list of 10 schools and list what application they require. Make sure they're all filled out, all ready to go. And then continue visiting college campuses. Senior year is big. That's kind of when I went on all my overnights. I was a spring athlete as a baseball player, so in the falls when I did that. If you were a fall athlete, you might be doing that either your junior year, spring of your junior year, or later on after your season, your senior year. But go on overnights, go on official visits if you can, unofficial visits. Try to talk to as many students on campus to get a feel for what it's like to go there. Talk to the team, ask them what they think of the coach. Talk to them about everything, academics, athletics. Now that's the time when you visit campus. That's the time to ask questions. Maybe attend a class if you can. If you're there during a weekday, ask the coach, "Hey, can I attend a class?" See if that class style is something you want, something you don't like. So you get a lot of information from visiting campuses. That's big for your senior year. And then just another piece of advice I would say is apply to several colleges. Even if you want to apply early decision, it's no guarantee you get in. You don't want to be caught, with your tail between your legs if you apply early decision to a school, and hopefully you do get in. But if you don't, you want to be prepared to apply to more colleges, apply to more schools. So apply to several. Hopefully you could give yourself an option of which one, give yourself an option to choose schools rather than, okay, I only applied to 3 schools, I only got into 1, so I guess I'm going to this school. Apply to as many as you want, and then give yourself that option so you can make a decision for yourself. And continue communicating with coaches that you're interested in and colleges that you're interested in, and vice versa. You don't want to lose communication for a couple months. Maybe the coach, whether you intend to or not, if you don't reach out to a coach for a while, a coach could take that as a sign that, okay, maybe he or she has moved on. They don't want to come to my school. So make sure if you're interested in a coach, even if you're not sure and you just want to keep lines of communication open, shoot him or her an email. My hair is terrible. Shoot him and her an email every now and then, or give him a call. Just, say, hey, coach, still interested, still making my decision. Just want to reach out, see if anything's new with you. Always want to keep the lines of communication open. And always be prompt when answering college coaches. If they shoot you an email or leave you a voicemail, get back to them in a timely manner. You don't want to be waiting a few days to get back. That they could take that as a sign that you're not very interested in their program. So you always want to try to get back, I would say, within a day. If you could do it that same day, that's even better. But you don't want to not get back in a timely manner. It's not a good look. It's just it's almost not. Some coaches might take it as a sign of disrespect. If you are busy and you can't, obviously you can explain that to the coach. Hey, sorry I didn't get back to you. I've been busy, blah, blah, blah. But if you can, get back to a coach on a timely manner. And finally, find your coach. Visit Locker Room Talk. Go to the rating sections of the coach. Figure out what all these athletes have to say about coaches that you're interested in. Take that into consideration. Take everything into consideration when you make your choice. Hopefully that gives you guys a good game plan for the recruiting process. Again, what to do your freshman and sophomore year, what to do your junior year, and finally what to do your senior year to get you to point A to point B, from high school sports to college sports, which is, again, the ultimate goal, which is why you're here, why you're watching this. I see we have a couple questions. Annie asks, how many coaches should you reach out to when you start the recruiting process? It's a great question. I don't know if there's a specific number that I would say, okay, reach out to 20 coaches or reach out to 10. Me personally, I think I reached out to 20 to 30, just the basic introductory email. I didn't hear back from all of them, and I also heard from ones that I didn't reach out to. But you don't want to reach out to too few. You never know what could happen. You never know what situations can arise where maybe coaches drop off or you realize, oh, this program's not right for me. So you want to cast a wide net, and then kind of your freshman, sophomore year, cast a wide net, and then look at it like a funnel. Each year, that net gets trims and gets thinner and thinner and thinner. Eventually, you're down to your 3 or 4 final options. But, I would say 20 is maybe a good number to shoot for, just in terms of emailing 20 coaches, filling out 20 questionnaires on college athletic websites. That's a good number, because you don't want to only reach out to 5 coaches, realize maybe they're not the right fit for you, and then you have to start all over again. You rather email 20 and hope that you could move forward with maybe 10. Cast a wide net and go from there. Tara asks, when you get your haircut, will you go to a barber or a beauty parlor? I'm usually a barber guy, but that has led me to this hair, so maybe I should go beauty parlor, go to the spa, get it shampooed, get it conditioned. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I'll keep you guys updated. Next Facebook Live in 2 weeks, I will hopefully have shorter hair, and I'll give you guys a whole rundown of how the haircut went. So if you don't have any more questions, I will wrap up with, again, visit lockerroomtalk.com. Oh, we have one more question from Chandler. What recruiting source do you suggest? A lot of people use Be Recruited, but are there others? Great question, Chandler. Like I said earlier, thank you, Alex. Thank you. Like I said earlier, Huddle is a great resource that you could use. They are awesome with making recruiting highlight tapes, pushing out your recruiting tapes to college coaches. I know a lot of college coaches that look on their site as a main resource in their recruiting process. And again, lockerroomtalk.com. They are awesome. Well, I guess I'm a little biased, but we have thousands of coach ratings that will tell you everything you need to know about a coach, about an athletic program. We have blogs about pretty much anything you could think of that could come up during the recruiting process. We'll have a blog on it. If we don't, email us at info@lockerroomtalk.com or reach out to us through our social media, whether you DM us on Twitter at LRT Sports or on Instagram at LockerRoomTalk. Leave a comment on this video or just message us on Facebook. We will get back to you. We don't have any preferred method of contact. Just reach out and we will answer any questions that you have. We'll help you the best we can, any way that we can. We're committed to doing that. Again, to visit our site, there's a link in this video. There will be a link /recruiting game plan. Just click on that. It'll take you to the site where you can view the blogs, coach Q&As, thousands of ratings. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, 2 weeks, which is October 19th, the day after my birthday. So I'll be getting a lot of birthday wishes in the comments section next time. Looking forward to that. Again, thanks for joining. If you couldn't join and you have a question or a comment, please just add it to this video and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Thanks, guys.